What if your greatest battles were not with the world outside, but with the thoughts inside your own head? What if the endless noise of overthinking was not a curse, but a hidden doorway to clarity and freedom? And what if the wisdom of the Stoics, tested through centuries of struggle and triumph, held the key to mastering the storm of the mind? Have you ever felt trapped inside your own mind, endlessly replaying past mistakes, worrying about outcomes you cannot control, or imagining scenarios so vividly that they begin to feel like reality? Overthinking is not merely a habit. It is a subtle form of suffering that steals your energy, your focus, and your freedom. It is the mind's way of convincing you that analysis equals action. That thought alone can prevent failure, when, in truth, it often prevents you from living fully in the present. The Stoics, those great philosophers who face the uncertainties of life with calm, reason, and unwavering virtue, teach us a profoundly different approach. They show us that true freedom arises not from controlling the uncontrollable, but from mastering our own perceptions, judgments, and actions. Welcome to Stoic Thrive, the sanctuary where timeless wisdom meets the challenges of modern life. Here we explore how ancient insights can equip you with the tools to protect your peace, strengthen your mind, and thrive with purpose even amidst the chaos of the modern world. In this video, we will examine 5 transformative Stoic strategies to break the chains of overthinking. These methods are not superficial hacks. They are disciplines of the mind refined over centuries, designed to cultivate clarity, confidence, and peace. By the end of this guide, you will have a roadmap for liberating your thoughts, reclaiming your energy, and stepping into a life defined by intentional action and reasoned judgment. Make sure you watch until the very end. The last technique alone can fundamentally change the way you experience every thought, every decision, and every moment of your life. 1. Distinguish what you can control. The root of overthinking lies in the confusion of power. We often expend immense energy trying to manipulate outcomes, influence others, or undo what has already happened, forgetting that these things were never truly within our control. Epictetus, one of the central figures of Stoicism, repeatedly emphasized that our freedom is not found in shaping external events, but in mastering the mind's own judgments. He drew a clear line between what is within our power, our thoughts, intentions, and actions, and what is not, the opinions, behaviors, and decisions of others, and the inherent unpredictability of life. To stop overthinking, you must internalize this distinction deeply, almost as if it were a law of nature. Every time your mind wanders into speculation about what cannot be changed, consciously redirect it to your own sphere of influence. Reflect, what can I actually do in this moment? What choices are mine to make? The rest is outside my domain, and resistance only breeds frustration. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you try to tend weeds that exist in your neighbor's plot, you will cultivate nothing within your own boundaries. But if you focus on nurturing your own soil, tending your own plants, every effort contributes to growth, abundance, and flourishing. Over time, this practice reshapes your entire mental landscape. The more you act within your circle of control, the less power overthinking has, and the more clarity, focus, and serenity you achieve. You begin to recognize that the obstacles themselves are neutral. The chaos is external, but your response is sovereign. This is the essence of Stoic freedom, the unshakable mastery of your inner world amidst a turbulent, uncontrollable reality. 2. Journal and reflect. Reflective writing is one of the most powerful tools for taming an overactive mind. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor burdened with the immense responsibility of ruling an empire, faced daily uncertainty, political intrigue, and personal loss. He wrote not to escape life, but to confront it with reason, discipline, and perspective. Journaling externalized the chaos of thought, transforming nebulous anxieties into tangible, examinable reflections. By putting your concerns on paper, you create the distance necessary to observe them objectively, rather than becoming enslaved by them. Overthinking thrives when thoughts are internal, unexamined, and amplified by fear or imagination. Through writing, you subject these thoughts to the scrutiny of reason. What is true? What is imagined? What action, if any, is possible? This process cultivates not only clarity, but wisdom as you begin to recognize recurring patterns, irrational fears, and habitual mental loops. Journaling also strengthens your ability to deliberate before you act. Thoughts are no longer a torrent to be endured. They become raw material for understanding, planning, and intentional response. Over time, this practice transforms the mind from a restless, reactive entity into a disciplined, reflective force capable of distinguishing between what is merely noise and what is worth attention. It is through this discipline that the restless mind learns patience, the anxious mind finds perspective, and the overthinker discovers the calm of a reasoned, thoughtful soul. Journaling is not a pastime. It is a training ground for freedom. 3. Anchor yourself in the present. The essence of overthinking is its tendency to pull us out of the only time that truly exists, the present. Our minds dwell on the past, replaying errors and imagining regrets, or leap ahead into the future, imagining catastrophes yet to come. Seneca and Epictetus remind us that life unfolds in this moment alone. Every second spent obsessing over what has been or might be is energy diverted from action, virtue, and meaningful engagement with reality. Anchoring yourself in the present is not a trivial exercise. It requires discipline, attention, and practice. It is a constant effort to bring the mind back whenever it wanders. Whether through mindful observation, deep engagement with tasks, or deliberate focus on the senses and surroundings, it means savoring the clarity of thought that arises when you confront reality as it is, not as your fears or desires distort it. When the mind is fully present, overthinking loses its grip because the loop of imagined possibilities has no foothold in actual experience. Presence allows decisions to be made from clarity rather than panic, from reason rather than reaction. Each act of deliberate attention, no matter how small, becomes a victory over the tyranny of imagined scenarios. Through consistent practice, the present becomes not a fleeting moment to be endured, but a sanctuary where your energy, focus, and purpose converge. 4. Practice mental rehearsal with purpose. Stoicism does not shy away from adversity. It confronts it. Premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of difficulties, is a method for facing potential challenges without succumbing to fear or indecision. Overthinking often arises from imagining the worst without preparation, leaving the mind trapped in the spiral of anxiety. The Stoic approach is radically different. Visualize obstacles, anticipate reactions, and plan deliberate responses. This mental rehearsal transforms uncertainty into preparedness, fear into readiness, and hesitation into thoughtful action. By rehearsing challenges in advance, you free the mind from the tyranny of what-if scenarios. You approach life with confidence, knowing that while you cannot control outcomes, you can control your response. Overthinking loses its grip because the mind has already accounted for potential disruptions. It is ready. Premeditatio malorum does not eliminate risk, but it equips the mind to face it with equanimity, reason, and courage. This practice strengthens emotional resilience and instills a deep sense of empowerment. Each imagined scenario becomes a rehearsal in virtue, turning anxiety into foresight and uncertainty into deliberate, intentional living. The mind trained in this way no longer fears life's unpredictable currents. It navigates them with clarity, calm, and mastery. 5. Cultivate gratitude and perspective. The final Stoic principle to conquer overthinking is the cultivation of gratitude and perspective. Overthinking thrives on what is missing, on imagined deficiencies, and on fear of imperfection. Stoic philosophy instructs us to shift our gaze from what is absent to what is present, from imagined losses to actual abundance. By observing the richness of life, however small, and recognizing the lessons embedded in challenges, we transform the mind's orientation from scarcity to appreciation, from fear to insight. Gratitude is not a superficial exercise. It is a profound discipline of perception. It trains the mind to recognize that life, in all its trials and imperfections, is an opportunity for growth, learning, and virtue. Perspective allows you to see problems in proportion, to recognize that many fears are exaggerated by the mind, and to prioritize what truly matters. When practiced consistently, gratitude quiets the restless loops of overthinking and fills the mind with clarity, calm, and purposeful focus. Life, once a source of mental torment, becomes a canvas for reasoned action and mindful engagement. Overthinking diminishes not through avoidance, but through a cultivated vision of reality tempered by appreciation, insight, and intentionality. This is a Stoic path to peace, a mind oriented toward what is real, what is meaningful, and what is within our power to shape. Overthinking is not a flaw. It is an invitation to master the mind. By applying these 5 Stoic disciplines, distinguishing what you control, journaling with reflection, immersing yourself in the present, rehearsing challenges with purpose, and cultivating gratitude, you reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your inner peace. Begin today. Start deliberately, persist patiently, and watch as your mind transforms from a restless, anxious battlefield into a calm, disciplined sanctuary of reason. If these teachings resonate, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Stoic Thrive, and share it with anyone who struggles with endless loops of thought that steal their peace. Remember, mastery over your mind is the foundation of freedom, resilience, and a life lived with intentionality. Step into that mastery now and let the clarity of Stoic wisdom guide every thought, action, and moment.